What's up, guys? I'm wearing earrings today, mixing it up. I wanted to talk to you about something. This is an interesting breaking news on the comedy front. Comedian Rich Vos, this past weekend, performed in, I believe, Winnipeg, Canada. And he's kind of getting some blowback over what, in my opinion, is simply just dealing with hecklers. So I'm going to pull up this article here. Man, I discovered this, I think, yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, shit." American comedian's racist remarks. As soon as I read this, I was like, "Okay." Spark walkout at Winnipeg comedy show. Rich Vos won't be back at Rumors Comedy Club, general manager says. This was from yesterday. Between 30 and 40 people walked out of a Rich Vos comedy show at Rumors on Friday over jokes they deemed racist. And Obijwe Ojibwe. This sounds like if anybody watched The Simpsons, it sounds like Quidjibo. A Quidjibo woman says she was among at least 30 people who walked out of Rumors Comedy Club in Winnipeg on Friday due to a number of racist and homophobic comments they heard from the stage. Kelsey Lenaghan says she was almost immediately turned off by comedian Rich Voss's set, which included what she called targeted harassment toward a table of Indigenous women. One of the things he said was, "Listen, lady, I'm not your sponsor. You need to go to your next AA meeting." He was making a joke about a talent show and saying that, these ladies would likely come up and make dream catchers. That's fucking funny. The American comedian also made a joke about hoping the women would get ticketed for driving under the influence on the way home, she recalled, which perpetuated offensive stereotypes. Is that a stereotype? I think everybody gets drunk occasionally and sometimes drives home. Lenaghan, who is from again with these fucking words, Penang Puntang First Nation, Penang Mutang First Nation, says the table of women left in the middle of his tirade, and she left the club to follow them to make sure they were okay. When she reached them, she said they were upset. Why can't we be able to come out for a fun night out without our indigeneity being brought up, without that being the center of his jokes and attacks? Okay. Lenaghan said, "To see my sisters and my relatives to be treated in this way, you get this sense of protection." Oh, come the fuck on. Although she was outside the auditorium for part of his set, Lenaghan says she could hear Voss continue his comments about women. See, it's like leave or don't leave. It's like you're gonna go outside the room, but then you're gonna keep your ear to the door to continue to listen for something else to be offended about. It completely ruined the evening and is hanging over our heads for the weekend. It's disgusting, she said. Shelley Lavalley, one of the women, maybe I just can't read anymore. One of the women who was directly insulted by Voss said in a statement to CBC News that she left the show feeling spiritually wounded. It should not be up to us to be prepared to toughen up our hearts and be equipped to laugh at the traumatic events, the Metis woman said in the statement. Rumors Nightclub has an ethical responsibility to ensure that all people are safe from insensitive racial ambushes. What did he even say that was an insensitive racial ambush? Like, y'all, these people were looking to be offended, as many. I'm sorry to say it, a lot of this is mostly women. You hear stories about this shit. It's mostly women who enjoy canceling. Rich Vos gave 4 shows at Rumors in Winnipeg, including one where at least 30 people walked out. I would have paid money to see that. That sounds hilarious. Mark Turner, who was sitting at a table with Lenaghan, says he felt uncomfortable. A man. He felt uncomfortable throughout Voss's set, including when the comedian used the word gay in a derogatory sense, but didn't want to make a scene because he was at a birthday party. Oh, he didn't want to make a scene, but he definitely volunteered to be a part of the article, or to jump on the bandwagon. However, he said everyone in his party eventually reached a breaking point. That I'm sorry, if you're going to a fucking comedy club for somebody's birthday party, I don't know, maybe research that person, you know what I mean? Like, if it's so goddamn important, maybe look into who you're going to see. Comedy clubs are not your safe space. These people are such hypocrites. These people are such hypocrites. These people that are like, "I'm offended." Look, you willingly went to a comedy club. What did you think was gonna happen? You were obviously prepared for someone or some group to be made fun of. Oh, but when it's you, it's too far. I'm sure if Voss had made fun of, married guys, white guys, fat guys, whatever, there's definitely a group of people that these people would have been fine laughing at. So it's like, this is why they're fucking hypocrites. Don't go to a comedy club then if you can't handle anyone being made fun of. And if you can't separate between reality and jokes and what happens at a comedy club, then you're fucking a moron and don't walk into a comedy club. The one that he said caused our table to go. The one that he said caused our table to go. Right, that's it. We've had enough. And stand up and walk out in unison, was he said. They should all go back to their fucking wigwam, is Turner said, adding that particular comment was made toward the group of indigenous women after they had walked out. It was clearly racist and nobody was really laughing. It just felt like full on racial attacks, especially against the indigenous community. Tyler Schultz, the club's general manager and booker, says he was there for Voss's set that evening and confirmed he heard some of the racist comments towards the indigenous women. Schultz said he saw Voss becoming frustrated with them. As Schultz said, the women were being loud and disrupting at the show. Okay, this usually happens when you're drunk. So these women come into Voss's show, they voluntarily go to the show, they pay for tickets, they become loud and disrupting. Okay, so this doesn't happen out of nowhere. I've worked with Voss many times. He's one of the best, in my opinion. He would never just go off on a group of people, personally, unless they were being drunk or disruptive or heckling or like basically making the show worse. So you can't come to a show, heckle, be annoying, be disruptive, and then act like the victim because he stands up for himself and the rest of the show, honestly. Prior to his performance, Schultz said Voss had been clear to the security guard that he wanted to speak directly to hecklers or people who were talking during the set and didn't want the guard to intervene. This is actually a good thing because typically in comedy clubs, like if someone starts heckling, like if he hadn't said this to the security guard and these women were loud and heckling and disrupting the show, a security guard could have just come and dragged them out. Could have just taken them out, not dragged them out by their necks, but like been like, all right, you got to go. And so here's Voss actually being cool about it and saying that if there are any hecklers, that he wants to deal with them directly instead of having them kicked out of the show, which is actually kind of a cool thing. Afterwards, Schultz says he tried to educate Voss, oh boy, about how his jokes were perceived by the audience and says the comedians seemed to have no idea how offensive they were because of their jokes. In a culture that's so quick to try and cancel people and jump on their megaphones on social media to try to cancel people, we believe in educating people, Schultz said. Well, then he shouldn't have been talking to Voss. He should have been talking to the offended parties because if you're against cancel culture, like Voss isn't going to cancel himself. So it's like you need to go to the people that seem to be interested in canceling. So this seems hypocritical. Like you should be educating the fucking cancelers. We don't want to censor our comics, but if that type of stuff happens, we definitely don't condone racist remarks like that. See, this seems hypocritical to me. We don't censor our comics, but we do censor them. Sorry, you can't have it both ways. You can't run a comedy club, have comics like Voss, and I didn't check to see who else was on their lineup, but a good comic is going to respond in this way when they get heckled. They're not just gonna like, I don't know. I think it's kind of a pussy move to be like, get the guard, get the security guard, get them out of here. It's like, no, you're gonna talk to these people. I feel like I learned a lot from watching Vos. I opened for him a few times. I think he's one of the best. He's freaking hilarious. He's one of the best at crowd work. Schultz says the rest of Voss's shows on the weekend went smoothly and nobody walked out. Even so, he won't be booking Voss again. Yeah, he had what, like 4, 6 shows or whatever. They all happened. Everyone had a great time except for this group. Code of conduct. Both Lenihan and Turner want to see rumors establish a code of conduct similar to the one the Winnipeg Comedy Festival established, so works to ensure all participants attend shows free of harassment, hostility, and abuse. See, this is not okay. You can't come to a comedy show and be like, well, we're gonna get drunk and get disruptive, but God forbid you respond at all and try to make jokes. Okay, so this is the Winnipeg Comedy Festival. I guess this is another Canada thing. Well, what is their code of conduct? The Winnipeg Comedy Festival is dedicated to creating an environment that is safe. See, this is where you lose me. Comedy clubs are not your safe, welcoming, fucking safe space. Sorry, just don't go to a comedy club then. We value your attendance and we want you to enjoy the comedy festival as much as possible. We've implemented the following code of conduct. Hostility, abuse, homophobia. Yeah. But you can't throw jokes and responding to hecklers. That's not equal. It's not the same thing here. Transphobia, racism, sexism, bullying, discrimination, humiliation, disruption, disrespectful, including inappropriate physical. Okay, this I understand. Inappropriate physical contact. Yeah, this should be, you're not allowed to attack a fucking comedian on stage doing their job. Offensive verbal interaction. These should be rules for the audience. Yeah, you shouldn't have offensive verbal interaction with the comic. Put your best foot forward. Be kind. Comedy's supposed to be fun. Yeah, comedy is supposed to be fun. So why are you trying to make it not fun with a gay code of conduct? Fucking Canada. If we have comedians come here, these are certain things that you can't touch base on. Are there a lot of spelling errors in this article, or am I just retarded? These are areas that shouldn't be talked about. I think that code of conduct would be a good place to start. Lenihan said, if you're going to come to Canada, learn about the people that are from this land. Be willing to treat people with respect so we can go to a comedy show and we can have a lot of laughs together. See, this is hypocritical to me. You're going to go to a comedy show? Really? You don't think a single group of people will be made fun of? Oh, but when it's your group, it's harassment and bullying, sure. Lenihan is also holding rumor staff responsible. Okay, this is not okay. Including Schultz for blaming the Indigenous women instead of canceling the rest of Voss's shows that weekend. No, he literally just said he's not about cancel culture. So why would he cancel the rest of his shows? See, this is why cancel culture is inherently incredibly selfish, incredibly narcissistic. The world does not revolve around you and what makes you upset or what offends you. He just said that the rest of the shows went off without hitch. So you're gonna rob a couple more hundred people of having a good time this weekend. Oh, because you're upset. You need to cancel the rest of Voss's shows. These people are fucking insane. And look at this. Is this so funny? This is the link that comes up. Winnipeg Comedy Club defends decision to book Louis C.K. despite sexual misconduct. So it's like, I don't know. I guess I feel bad for Canada, for comedy clubs trying to make their way in Canada, because like you're dealing with like kind of a icky woke population. I don't know what Canada's. I don't think Canada technically has a free speech amendment or law. But Canada like clearly wants to be like America in the fact like they want to have a similar like sort of comedy vibe, comedy community. They want to have good shows. So of course they're going to book American comedians. Sorry, we're just good. So this is funny to me. I think they should put a statement when you walk in a comedy club like, sorry, you are voluntarily walking into a building where there will be jokes, and it's like if you stay for this show, that's kind of on you. Schultz says he advises comedians against jokes that could be very offensive, including sexually explicit or targeted material. before their performances because it doesn't normally do well with the rumors audiences, but he doesn't explicitly prohibit it. Yeah, it doesn't sound like these were jokes that were part of Voss's act. This is Voss standing up for himself when he's getting heckled and his show is being disrupted. Turner says what he witnessed Friday at Friday's show was wrong. I think when minority groups or groups that are particularly being targeted in comedy, if they don't find it funny or if they find it hurtful or damaging, I think that's a very clear indicator that it's not comedy. No, I don't know. I think if even one person laughed, it's, you know what I mean? It can still be comedy if not everyone's laughing at it. And it's like responding to a heckler isn't, I don't think you should put that in the same category like as your jokes, like your planned set. It's improvised. So it's like if you're being attacked on the street and you're acting in self-defense, like should you be judged? No, you're defending yourself. So in a sense, like Voss is acting out of self-defense here. CBC News hasn't been able to reach Voss for comment yet. It doesn't sound like you guys even tried to reach him for a comment. It doesn't say like, oh, we called him, we emailed him, and he hasn't responded. It doesn't sound like you tried at all. Whew. Yeah. So ladies can come and be drunk and disruptive at a show, and then when you try to stand up for yourself, oh, but you're the problem. Okay. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. I don't know. This makes me upset. This makes me annoyed. And I've never performed in Canada, and this kind of shit makes me never want to. Like, people should understand that this doesn't happen out of nowhere. It doesn't mean Voss is like a hateful. No, it's like ask any comedian how they would respond to a heckler. Comedy clubs are not safe spaces. If you're looking for a safe space kind of time, don't go to a comedy show. The cancel mob is always, it's like you say you want a good time, but you're actually the cancel mob, like lurking and waiting to be offended. And why is it always women? I'm sorry. Why is it always women and fucking beta dudes? Oh, are you guys waiting for the Amber Heard Johnny Depp results? Are they about to drop that? Let me see what you guys are saying. They're trying to cancel my boy Voss. Is it because he dresses like a Jew from Miami? He should be canceled for ruining the English language. Would he? B-Spin Voss went semi-woke a few years ago with his anti-Trump jokes. This is payback for what? What was his anti-Trump joke? Isn't that interesting? Like, yeah, Voss is Jewish. Like, he could make the argument like, oh, I'm just being targeted because I'm Jewish. Don't worry, I'm not going to bring up my dad again, B-Spin. I'm done. Thank you. Thank you for the I'm doing earrings. Yeah. The CBC is trash. Oh, the CBC is Trudeau's personal propaganda division. Yikes. That's no good. That's no good. Poontang Woontang. Yep. Yeah, it is good that he's getting some press. I think this is ultimately a good thing for him. These people are such hypocrites. It's like, how did we raise a whole generation of people who can't handle jokes? And this is not out of nowhere. You got drunk, you got disruptive, you were loud. Oh, but if somebody deals with you, like what would you have preferred? To be dragged out of the show? To be asked to leave? No, it's like you are exhibiting your I don't know what Canada's freedom of speech laws are, but it's like clearly these women were exhibiting what they thought was free speech by having loud outbursts. So, oh, but he can't respond. He can't. He can't defend himself? Fuck outta here. That was me doing a Tina Forte. Let me look up. Let me see what if there's anybody from Canada in the chat who knows anything about this. Freedom of speech in Canada. You have right. Oh, where is this from? Is this even a reputable? Who knows? You have rights. You have a right to vote. You have a right to federal government services delivered to you in either English or French. And you have a right to go to court if you believe your rights have been infringed. But what about your right to freedom of speech? Thanks to the constant influx of American pop culture. Thanks, America. Canadians know about the sainted American right of free speech. It's right there in the Bill of Rights. It's their First Amendment. It clearly says Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech. But look in the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and you will never find the word speech. Instead, under Section 2B, the Canadian Charter, you will see that everyone has freedom of thought, belief, opinion, and expression. Yeah, to me, that covers stand up. That is thought, belief, opinion, and expression. I don't know. That sounds pretty similar to speech. The freedom of expression in the charter is there to stop the government from stopping you from expressing yourself. Yeah, but what about like twats that are drunk at your show? And that's the thing. If they're heckling because they're drunk, and then Voss like, oh, I hope you get a fucking DUI on the way. That's you're responding to them being drunk, not a like supposed stereotype. Like who even that's like saying that Voss was aware of their exact ethnic breakdown. It probably was dark. He probably didn't see what the hell they looked like. But again, if you're acting drunk, a comedian can make a comment on your drunk behavior. However, there are limits that are allowed, just like there are limits in the US around freedom of speech. Can't shout fire a crowd theater. All right, no one's doing that. How about just shouting in a crowded theater? Because that lady would get kicked out. Wow. Canadian protections of freedom of expression are slightly different than the US in terms of what they cover. In general, the thought is that the government can limit this right if it is reasonable and it can be justified in a free and democratic society. See, this is a gray area. Ugh. Okay, this is not hate speech or a violent criminal. That's what the thing. People have conflated speech they don't like with hate speech or like somebody making fun of them as fucking hate speech, which it's not. There are also reasonable infringements in certain too many limitations. Yeah. So it's like, it's kind of there, but there's a gray area. And I think just America has more of a culture around free speech than Canada does. Because Canada is full of pussies. Sorry, did I say that? Okay. Oh, hey, Matthew Hammond. Why would people not leave if they don't? Exactly. Yeah, people are free to leave if they don't like it. But what's not okay is to give Voss a hard time for simply standing up for himself in the show. It's like, what? You get to disrupt it. You get to be loud and drunk, but he doesn't get to respond. Oh, but he, I mean, like, I don't know. If you want a predictable time, watch a movie. Do literally anything other than see a live comedy show. I don't know. I think I'm confused at your comment, Matt. Are you saying like, yeah, I agree that they were right to leave if they didn't like it. You don't have to cancel somebody on the way out. Like that doesn't mean nobody in there had a good time. Yeah. Hi guys. Hi chat. This all sounds anti-Semitic. I agree. Yes, all it takes is one laugh for it to be a joke. Yeah. And there's a difference too between someone who is joking and a joke. Like you could be joking and it's not necessarily like a set up punchline. You guys know this though. Like, if there are ramifications to a comic standing up for himself during a show, because that's like speech, that's offensive. Well, Voss could have been offended by her fucking outburst. So where's his protection? So there. Yeah, I agree. Rich Vos is a legend. He's one of the best to do it. I have learned so much from him just from watching him, performing with him. He's one of the best at crowd work. He's so sharp. He's so funny. He's great. He's great. He's one of my favorites. Yeah. No, he will not be canceled. He's just getting his hand slapped. It's just Canada being Canada. It makes comedians not want to perform in Canada. Real Canadians don't. Peterborough, Chad says, real Canadians don't care. Our prime minister has labeled all Canadians racist homophobes already. Don't worry about this. Okay. Yeah. That's the bigger problem. The guy who's running your country. I mean, I should talk. We have a dead person running our country. Canada's First Amendment says subject to the law equals you can say whatever we say is okay, right? That's a huge gray area. Oh, what up, Habib? Immigrant Canadian here. Most people aren't aware that speech isn't free in Canada. Then why would you perform there? Rooting for Putin mug. I should get these back on Flagrant Triggers. I don't know if you guys know this, but my t-shirts are available on Flagrant Triggers. Shout out to Flagrant Triggers. They took me in when TeePublic booted out my Rooting for Putin design. They took me in like an orphan. Go to flagranttriggers.com. $27 includes shipping. I am told these shirts are super soft. And shipping is included here. And now we have a new Simpcast shirt in gray, navy, green, and black. That's fun. I'm going to get one of those for Frank. And then the classic Mayor. And classic Rooting for Putin in white, black, gray, navy, green. Oh, see, these are all like normal colors. Check it out, yo. You know what I need to do is I need to order my albums like on fucking CD and vinyl already. I think I got distracted and didn't do it. Freedom of speech to Republicans is freedom to be racist. Explain that. I've heard that is like a talking point on the left, but I think it's just like you could literally say that anything is racist. So it's kind of a hard argument there. It's like if we can say that anything is racist, we should be able to say that anything is not racist. Oh my God, there's a dog in here. I had no idea there was a dog on the floor this whole time. Canada, the land where you have to wax a man's genitals because he says he's a woman or gets sued out of business. Yeah, damn. Canada to me just sounds like ugh. If New York City became a whole country. Just woke. Left-hearted. Canada just banned handguns? Oh, sorry about that. That's no good. I would gladly have free racism over racism only for the privileged. Yeah, like people want equality. That's what equality looks like. Equality looks like everyone being made fun of. And I'm sure he like took shots at many different groups and many different types of people. It's not just these indigenous twats, even though, it's like no one's going to say, yeah, they were disruptive. They were drunk. Like this didn't come out of nowhere. Idiots. Don't ruin it for everybody else. Did you guys hear about Mike Ward? He was somebody who was he's a Canadian comedian who was dealing with, he got in trouble over a joke. I think he was making fun of someone on whatever their equivalent of like America's Got Talent is. This was back in October. He mocked a young disabled singer. He actually won. He took this all the way to court. It took him months and like thousands of dollars, but he won this free speech case. A Canadian comedian who mocked a disabled singer has won his free speech case in Canada's top court. Okay, that looks okay. I'm just trying to make it just the article. In a 5-4 split decision, the Supreme Court ruled that jokes told about the singer, who was a child at the time, did not amount to discrimination. It marks the end of a nearly decade-long legal battle over a segment in a stand-up comedy special. The case, which tested the limits of free speech in Canada, has received widespread attention. I had no idea how old this was. It began in 2010 when Mike Ward, a popular comedian from Quebec, known for his edgy comedy, started telling jokes about child singer Jeremy Gabriel. The stand-up act at the center of the case dealt with issues of race and religion, as well as what Mr. Ward has called the sacred cows of the province's celebrity industry. People who, in his view, were for various reasons too rich, too powerful, and seen as out of bounds for mockery. Yeah, and you could also add to this, any perceived, membership in a victim group, which is literally any ethnicity but white. And any kind of like basically anything but being a straight white person like gets you into a victim group. In the segment in question, Mr. Ward made jokes about Mr. Gabriel, who as a boy had become a minor celebrity province and was known in the press as Petite Jeremy. Mr. Gabriel has Treacher-Collins syndrome. That sounds like fried fish. A genetic disorder that can affect facial bone structure and, in his case, cause severe deafness. Wait, he's a singer who was deaf and he had a career? Good for him. The jokes referenced Mr. Gabriel's disability and mocked his appearance. Okay, so this wasn't a heckling situation. This was part of his act, but he was a celebrity. So it's kind of like you're a public figure. You have made yourself vulnerable to being talked about. The family filed a human rights complaint before the Quebec Human Rights Tribunal. Damn, they took it to the hole. A specialized court that handles cases related to discrimination or harassment under the provincial rights charter, and the comedian lost. Mr. Ward appealed. This is probably where most people would have gone home and been like, fuck. But he appealed, and in a 2019 split decision, the Court of Appeal mostly upheld the tribunal's ruling, as well as a 30. Damn, how much money is this? 20 pounds? 35 Canada bucks? Oh, $27,500 awarded in moral and punitive damages. Wow. So he got all this back. He appealed to the Supreme Court, arguing that it was a free speech issue and saying at the time that it shouldn't be up to a judge to decide what constitutes a joke on stage. Excellent point. On Friday, Canada's highest court ruled that the comedy routine did not breach the province's rights charter. Good for him. The ruling said that Mr. Gabriel was targeted not because of his disability, but because of his fame, and that while some of the comments were nasty and disgraceful, they did not incite the audience to treat Mr. Gabriel as subhuman. Yeah, you can make the same argument for Voss. These women, the women at his show, were not targeted because of their indigeneity, because of whatever victim group they think they're a part of. But they were targeted because they were being loud and drunk and disruptive, and they were fucking up the show. And I don't think Voss was inciting the audience to treat the hecklers, poorly. He's just standing up for himself. The impugned, oh God, the impugned comments exploited, rightly or wrongfully, a feeling of discomfort in order to entertain. But they did little more than that, the majority decision said. In the dissenting opinion, the justices argued that the jokes made when Mr. Gabriel was still a child were pejorative slurs based on his disability. No, they were because he was famous. And said the case was about the rights of the vulnerable and marginalized people to be free from the public humiliation, cruelty, vilification, and bullying that singles them out on the basis of their disability. Mr. Ward had received support for his case from the comedy world, which was concerned about a potential chilling effect on humor. Well-known Canadian stand-up comedians like Sugar Sammy and the late Norm Macdonald were among those to back Mr. Ward. On Mr. Friday, Mr. Ward tweeted, "We did it, Norm. We won." Mr. Gabriel, now in his 20s, told media in Montreal during an emotional news conference that it had been an honor for him to have been part of this debate and to have had my say. Ugh. All right. Fucking Canada. Fucking Canada, right? Yes, Philip. You need to be even more harsh on hecklers. They should be completely dismantled. I agree. You guys all understand, but I think most people who go to a comedy, especially the hecklers, like especially these sound like first time hecklers. And what first time hecklers don't understand is like you are ruining this for everybody. You're making the comedian's job much harder. So yeah, you deserve to be dealt with in whatever way that comedian thinks will be the most entertaining. You know, like I think most comedians when they have a heckler, they go, "Okay, how can I make this funny?" Because it's usually like fewer people heckling. Usually it's one or two or a couple people heckling, and it sounds like these 30 people that walked out, they just were like, you know what I mean? Like they hadn't walked out earlier, so they weren't all that offended, but when they see other people walking out like, oh, they want to get on the choo-choo cancel train and feel like they're part of a group. And they probably were like ready to go anyway. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. Why would anyone perform in Canada? Boss will be fine. No racial minority takes jobs with the US federal government at the rate that Indians do. You can look that up. Oh, are Indians like a protected class? Sweet and sour pork. Hey, 60K subs, Chrissie Mayr. GG. Wasn't it 45 not too long ago? Congrats. Thanks, buddy. Vos is a legend. Agreed. You should, I mean, this should make you want to go see him even more. You can't be too mean to hecklers, but that's subjective. Like, since anything can be racist, anything can be considered mean. You know what I mean? Where do you draw the line? I just think you can't be surprised when you heckle a show that a comedian's gonna talk to you directly. And then, like, whatever you look like and whatever you act like, I think is up for being made fun of. Yeah. What's up, Habib? Free speech ought to be absolute, else anyone can argue that anything is hate speech. Exactly. We'll reach a point where hate silence will be a thing with judges determining what a person thought at the time. Well, we already have the phrase like silence is violence, right? So fucking dumb. There could there be a large voice of influential comedians who say no more shows in Canada until all this fascist speech control stops. Let these woke comedy clubs shut down if they want to do this. Yeah, I think it's pretty hard to get a group of comedians to do anything because ultimately we're all independent contractors. I think that's why there's no comedy union. People are kind of out for themselves, which I understand, you know. Something like this upsets me and this makes me not want to perform in Canada, but this may not upset another kind of comedian, you know. Another kind of comedian will be like, "Well, I'm booked in Canada. I don't want to miss out on getting paid. I don't want to miss out on the money or the gig." So, in theory, this would be a great idea, but I just think it's maybe you could, you know what I mean? Like, this is kind of all I can do is talk about this issue amongst me and my comedy friends. And I think I have a lot of comedy buddies who would agree and yeah, be less inclined to perform in Canada after this. But like to try to uh, form a large group of comics who are going to just like not go anywhere near Canada. Not that it's cancel culture in reverse. Like I just think if this pisses you off, yeah, you shouldn't perform in Canada. I'm not gonna try to like rally people behind this cause because if this doesn't make you upset, like I'm not how could I convince you? But I kind of agree with you, Matt. Ultimately, they just kind of want to keep performing and they want the money. A lot of comedians are not really out to make a statement. And we learned that over the pandemic when certain comedians wouldn't perform in places that have vax passports and then other comedians didn't care. So there. Jimmy, Bobby Kelly, Conklin, and many more have destroyed people for much less. Bonnie has probably done worse in the past. Yeah, this is typical. If you disrupt a show, you're going to get made fun of. And then understand that has more with you being an asshole than your ethnicity. Yeah. Hecklers deserve to be squashed by the comedian without mercy. Agreed. Because you know what? If you didn't want to be the center of attention, if you didn't want to be talked to, keep your mouth shut. And if you're really worried about it, then sit in the back or sit on the side or sit out of the front. But no, people have to make it about them. So dumb. It's so fucking dumb. Canada is an embarrassment to North America. Agreed. Yeah. If they can't take it, that's the problem. You're in a comedy club. Don't go if you have thin skin. It's like saying no more performing in New York City. It was one club. The rest of the clubs are pretty cool. Well, I actually will be performing in New York City for the first time in almost a year. So Mines is doing an event. Let's see. Oh, tickets are available, so I can go to the Beacon Theater website. I have a big one, guys. I'm really excited. Yes, tickets are available. Look at that. Wowie. All right, I'll bring this up. So Mines is having an event at the Beacon Theater. Whoops, it's Inception. What did I do? Okay. So this is a Beacon Theater ticket website. If you scroll down, July 25th. No, it's June 25th. Mines Festival of Ideas, Saturday, 7:30. Tickets are available. Wow, I didn't know they were this expensive. Maybe there's cheaper ones like in the balcony. Wow. This is going to be a banger of an event. Tim Pool will be there. James O'Keefe, Zuby will be speaking. A lot of really great speakers. Hi. I'm trying to find a Minds. I guess I could look at my email to see the list of who is speaking. Yeah, I can't remember the other ones. That's pretty cool. Oh, Ian Crossland will be there. Is there such a thing as professional hecklers? I wouldn't put it past somebody. Like, let's say, your brand is like owning hecklers. I wouldn't be surprised if you hired someone to be in the audience and make a disruption, if that's what you wanted. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah, Ian will be there. I gotta find, I think I have it in my other email account. Hold, please. Do 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 do. Did we confirm Abby for Wednesday?
Yeah, 5 p.m.
Nice. Abby Shapiro will now be Wednesday at 5 p.m. Not tonight. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Here it is. Who's going to be on it? Nick Gillespie, Ian Crossland, Bill Ottman, Daryl Davis, Cornell West, Coleman Hughes, Zuby, Seth Dillon, Majid Nawaz, Stephen Bunnell, Libby Emmons. And then the final panel is Tim Pool, James O'Keefe, Ben Burgess, and more to be announced. Pretty exciting. That's going to be June 25th at the Beacon Theater. It's called the Minds Festival of Ideas. But I'm going to be getting up here and there between now and then to just like test some stuff out. Do I get both? Like it's definitely nerves, but it's like it's because you are excited, and sometimes it can feel like you're nervous, but you're actually excited. Sometimes it's both, depending on the circumstances. Yeah. So anyway, I saw a couple of other like Yahoo News picked up this article about Voss, but it's basically like a straight up copy. They didn't really write anything different. Yeah, I wish they had contacted Voss about this to get his thoughts on it. But, left wing media, go to left wing media. So, anyway, go see Rich Vos if you haven't. He's super funny. He is super funny. What else? Okay, so today I have KP Burke coming on at, I think, 5? Yeah. At 5 o'clock. I'm waiting to hear back from a couple more people that I'm going to schedule. But yeah. I did see Top Gun Maverick. It was so good. It was so good. And I don't think you need to see the first one to appreciate this one. Really good. I cried a bunch. Bless you. There was one girl in the movie. She was not sexualized. There were a lot of men without their shirts, which I enjoyed. And yeah, it was just a great story. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Abigail Shapiro is still happening. Yes, she will be tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. So get your questions ready. Get your simping selves ready for Abby Shapiro. That's going to be a good one. And yeah, I'll see you.